Thank you for joining me on my masterclass. Now, today we're going to talk about the hottest business ideas in Africa. Now, that's the hottest business ideas in Africa. And you see, I take into account your feedback. Now, a lot of my subscribers come from Asia, from Cambodia, Vietnam, Nepal, Bangladesh, that part of the world. And then I have a substantial number also from Africa, something like about 36%. And I saw your feedback. A lot of you are saying, well, some of the websites, some of the ideas that you give, they pretty much work everywhere else, but they don't work in Africa, or rather they don't work in some parts of Africa. Can you give us business ideas that are specifically tailored to those of us in Africa? And I went back and I did my research, because I shouldn't just come and then just tell you anything. I need to tell you things that are workable, that are practical. I don't want you guys to go into an exercise in futility. And so I decided I was going to do a series on the hottest business ideas in Africa. And I did one last week. So now this is the second one. However, I did not say that I was starting this series last week. So I just did one, and that video did very well. So I'm going to start the series now with this one. So I'm going to try my best to do it maybe like every other day, talk about the hottest business ideas in Africa. If I can't do it every other day, then I will do it, God spare my life, every week. Now, today we're going to talk about one of the hottest business ideas in Africa. I wouldn't say one of the hottest. I think it's the hottest. I think it's the biggest. I think it's the number one. That's why we're starting this series with this. You have to consider that Africa has a population that is growing. We've got the fastest growing population of any continent. Our population is really growing. If you look at the population of the world, they're going to tell you, if you look at the UNFPA figures, they're going to tell you that countries like Niger have the highest growth rates in the whole world. Niger, and then closely followed by a country like Chad. But that is only telling you half the story. If you take a country like Nigeria, it was put together by the British, amalgamated, 3 regions. So you got the southern regions of the west and the east, and then they put them together in 1914 with the northern region. If you take away the southern regions that are more educated and are more inclined to follow, Western ideas and Christianity, and you just leave only the northern region. Northern Nigeria is actually the region with the fastest growing population on earth, bar none. And you got to understand that Nigeria has a population right now of about something like 219 million. By 2050, it's projected that that population is going to double in size, so almost 400 million. Now, already Nigeria has a housing deficit of 28 million. That's close to 30 million. So we have a housing deficit whereby 14% of Nigerians do not have houses of their own. So they are living maybe on the streets or with relatives or in very, very terrible conditions. Now, you might say, okay, well, that's just Nigeria. It's an African-wide problem. All over sub-Saharan Africa is an African-wide problem. So Ghana has a much smaller population than Nigeria, something like maybe 15% of the population of Nigeria. Ghana has a housing deficit of 2 million. Kenya claims to have a housing deficit of 2.2 million. But the thing is, the UN believes that Kenya is grossly understating it. Maybe because of the kinds of census that they have, which are not very well penetrated. Because I've been to Kenya multiple times. Tanzania has a very high housing deficit too. It's close to 4 million. You have a country like Ethiopia. Ethiopia is doing very, very well because of Prime Minister Abiy. He's done a lot of work in building houses. The challenge with that is that a lot of this work is being done in the Amhara region. And even in Amhara, it's being done in around Addis. So it's not spread evenly around the country. So if you want to make a lot of money in Africa, you have to consider going into housing, low-cost housing. Low-cost housing. Now, if you're watching this, you're probably watching this on an iPhone. In Nigeria, they have, this is stunning. It's stunning. Nigeria has about 5 million iPhones. 5 million iPhones. Maybe more. And iPhones are not cheap. You can actually buy a piece of land in Nigeria with the cost of an iPhone 14. An iPhone 14 is something like $1,600, $1,700, so $1,600. If you convert that to Naira, that's over 1 million Naira. And you can buy pieces of land for that amount of money. In Ghana, you can do the same thing. In Kenya, you can buy land in Kenya for a reasonable amount of money. In Kenya, you can actually buy land in Nairobi, in the outskirts of Nairobi, for about 10,000 shillings. Same thing with Tanzania. other parts of Africa. So a lot of Africans are buying iPhones. They just want to buy it for, to feel, like they belong, to feel like that they are elite. A lot of countries that are much richer than countries in Africa, they don't have the iPhone penetration that Africa has. So we got to move from consumption to production. And we need to put that money to better use. So already, we have challenges. Look, 91% of accounts in Nigeria hold less than $1,000. We got that figure. It was released. And you can research that. It holds less than $1,000. So Nigerians are not rich. It's worse in Ghana, worse in Kenya, by far worse in Tanzania. So when we get this money, let's not put it into things like iPhone, buy human hair for $500. Look, put the money, buy a piece of land. In many places in Africa, and I said this last week, you don't even have to buy land if you want to build or you want to go into agriculture. You write to the State Department of Lands or you write to the Ministry of Land, they give you free land. But even if you don't want to do that, maybe it's the bureaucratic process. Buy a piece of land in the outskirts. Like if you are in Nairobi, you don't have to buy a piece of land in Cantonment area or Roman Ridge area, which are highbrow areas of Accra. If you are in Lagos, you don't have to buy a piece of land in Ikoyi, Victoria Island, Lekki, which are going to be very expensive. You can go to the outskirts. You can go to the outskirts, Abule Egba, or Jota. You can go to places like that, Agbado. Like you got places like that in Kenya, in Nairobi. You don't have to go to Runda or Karen area. Those are very high. And yeah, you're surprised I know all these places. I've been around Africa multiple times. There's no part of Africa I haven't been to. You can just go, because here's the thing. Right now, there's a lot of infrastructural projects going on in Africa by the Chinese. So they've got, rail networks where you've got people, workers coming into the city centers to work, and then after that, they go back home. So what you can do is buy a piece of land in the outskirts. Cities in Africa are expanding at a very fast rate, at the fastest rate in the world. So buy the outskirts. That outskirt today is not going to be outskirt tomorrow. That outskirt today is tomorrow's highbrow area. Buy right now while it's cheap. See, population is increasing, population is exploding, population is expanding. However, the land surface on planet Earth is not increasing. It remains the same. So you're having a higher number of people that are going to be pursuing a stable, a static number of, land mass. So definitely real estate is the way to go, because until your population starts to reduce, like you have in China, where you're having a population that is reducing in China. Right now in China, you got 90 million units of housing that are empty. You don't have that challenge in Africa. Your population, our population is expanding. So until our population starts to reduce, then housing, real estate is the way to go. Buy the piece of land, don't worry. Next year's money that you're going to use to buy another iPhone, because the iPhone comes out every year and you've been foolish enough to buy another iPhone, go and buy blocks, go and buy lintel, go and get cement, get laborers, and then start building. Little by little by little, the house is built, and then you put in tenants there. And then that is the way you start to charge rent. And that's one of the hottest business ideas in Africa. And African banks would rather lend you money for real estate, because they know that, look, you can't run away with the money. It's the safest loan to give, it's the safest investment that they can give to you, because if you don't pay, boom, they come and take back the house. So you can get money from a bank to even build up the house faster. But if you don't want to do that, you take your time gradually and you build and put tenants there. Now, I know this is a mouthful. However, if you have questions arising from this, put them in the comment section. My staff are going to bring them to me, and I'll do my best to respond to each and every comment. But you got to remember, I do not have a WhatsApp forum, a Telegram channel, or a Gmail email address, and I won't approach you in the comment sections of my video telling you helpline, guideline, contact me for more profitable information. I'm going to help you invest your money. Everything I do is for free. Now, scammers are seeing that my videos tend to go viral. So they create a number of fake YouTube profiles and they spam you in the comment sections of my videos. And then if you're foolish enough to contact them, they ask you to pay about $1,000, and that's the last you hear from them. Then you start chasing me all over social media. Pastor Reno, you've duped me. No, I haven't duped you. That's why I'm giving you this message. This is when I'm working the Apostle of Prosperity, saying, God bless you.
But Reno travels all around the world. I hope you get inspired about what you see. Apostle of greatness, Reno is a master. Only one man against the whole world in large. Fighting with the monsters, poverty I can't stand. That's why Reno is